The Democratic Republic of Congo, often referred to simply as the DRC, and Rwanda are two nations forever bound by geography and history. These neighboring countries share a complex and intertwined past that has shaped their present and will undoubtedly influence their future. The DRC, a sprawling giant in the heart of Africa, captivates the imagination with its immense rainforests, majestic rivers, and vibrant cultures. Its natural beauty is matched only by the richness of its cultural heritage, which includes hundreds of ethnic groups and languages. Rwanda, known as the land of 1,000 hills, enchants visitors with its rolling hills, breathtaking landscapes, and resilient people. Despite its small size, Rwanda's beauty and the strength of its people leave a lasting impression on all who visit. Yet beneath this veneer of beauty lies a shared history of conflict, a narrative marred by violence, displacement, and suffering that has left deep scars on both nations. For decades, the relationship between the DRC and Rwanda has been strained by a complex web of historical grievances, political tensions, and economic interests. These issues have often erupted into violence, affecting millions of lives. The aftershocks of the Rwandan genocide, the scramble for resources, and the proliferation of armed groups have fueled a cycle of violence that has claimed countless lives and displaced millions. The impact of these events continues to be felt today. This essay delves into the intricate history of the conflict, examining its root causes and exploring potential pathways to a peaceful and prosperous future for both nations. By understanding the past, we can hope to build a better future. The journey towards peace is fraught with challenges, but with resilience and determination, there is hope for a brighter tomorrow. This essay delves into the intricate history of the conflict, examining its root causes and exploring potential pathways to a peaceful and prosperous future for both nations. To understand the roots of the conflict, we must journey back to the era of European colonialism, a time when the ambitions of European powers reshaped the African continent in profound and lasting ways. In the late 19th century, the Berlin Conference carved up the African continent among European powers, drawing arbitrary borders that disregarded existing ethnic and cultural boundaries. These new borders often split communities and forced together disparate groups, laying the groundwork for future conflicts. The DRC, then known as the Belgian Congo, endured the brutal rule of King Leopold II, whose insatiable greed for rubber and ivory resulted in the deaths of millions of Congolese. His regime was marked by extreme violence and exploitation, leaving deep scars on the nation's psyche. Rwanda, under German and later Belgian rule, experienced a different but equally damaging form of colonial manipulation. The colonial powers imposed their own systems and structures, often exacerbating existing social divisions and creating new ones. The Belgians implemented a system of ethnic classification favoring the Tutsi minority over the Hutu majority. This preferential treatment created deep-seated resentment and mistrust between the two groups, which would have tragic consequences in the future. This policy of divide and rule sowed the seeds of ethnic tensions that would later explode into horrific violence. The colonial legacy of division and favoritism left a volatile mix of anger and rivalry. The legacy of colonialism left the DRC and Rwanda with weak institutions, simmering ethnic divisions, and a culture of impunity that would have devastating consequences in the decades to come. The echoes of colonial rule continue to influence the political and social landscapes of these nations today. The year 1994 witnessed one of the darkest chapters in human history, the Rwandan genocide. Over a span of 100 days, an estimated 800,000 Tutsis and moderate Hutus were systematically slaughtered by Hutu extremists. The genocide sent shockwaves throughout the region, triggering a mass exodus of refugees into neighboring countries, including the DRC, then known as Zaire. Among the refugees were members of the Interahamwe, the Hutu militia responsible for the genocide, who sought refuge in the eastern DRC. These armed groups posed a security threat to the newly installed Rwandan government led by the Rwandan Patriotic Front, which had overthrown the genocidal regime. The influx of refugees and the presence of genocidaires on Congolese soil created a volatile situation that would become a major catalyst for the Congo Wars. The First Congo War, which erupted in 1996, saw Rwanda, along with Uganda, back a rebellion led by Laurent Désiré Kabila against the longtime dictator Mobutu Sese Seko. This conflict was rooted in deep-seated issues, including the aftermath of the Rwandan genocide and the desire to overthrow Mobutu's corrupt regime, which had ruled for over 3 decades. Kabila, initially hailed as a liberator, soon alienated his former allies, plunging the country into a second, even more devastating conflict in 1998. This war, unlike the first, saw even more complex dynamics as various factions vied for power and control. The Second Congo War, often referred to as Africa's World War, drew in numerous countries and armed groups, each vying for control of the DRC's vast mineral wealth. The involvement of so many external forces turned the conflict into a continental crisis with far-reaching consequences. Rwanda, claiming to pursue genocidaires hiding in the DRC, supported rebel groups that committed widespread human rights abuses. These actions further destabilized the region, leading to a humanitarian catastrophe. The conflict became a tangled web of alliances and betrayals, fueled by a toxic mix of political grievances, ethnic tensions, and the insatiable greed for the DRC's diamonds, gold, and coltan. The exploitation of these resources funded the war efforts of various factions, perpetuating the cycle of violence. The 2 Congo Wars left an indelible scar on the region, claiming millions of lives through violence, disease, and displacement. The legacy of these conflicts continues to affect the DRC, with ongoing instability and humanitarian challenges that the country struggles to overcome. Section 5. Security concerns, a climate of fear and mistrust. In the aftermath of the Congo Wars, the security situation in eastern DRC remained volatile. The presence of numerous armed groups, including Rwandan Hutu rebels, fueled a climate of fear and mistrust. Rwanda, citing security concerns, continued to intervene militarily in eastern DRC, supporting proxy armed groups and exacerbating regional instability. The Congolese government, weakened by corruption and internal divisions, struggled to assert control over its vast territory, leaving its citizens vulnerable to violence and exploitation. The cycle of violence and impunity created a breeding ground for human rights abuses, including sexual violence, forced recruitment of child soldiers, and mass displacement. Section 6. The plunder of Congo's riches, a cycle of exploitation. The Democratic Republic of Congo's vast mineral wealth, while holding the potential for prosperity, has instead become a curse, fueling conflict and exploitation. Armed groups, both Congolese and foreign, have profited from the illegal exploitation of minerals such as gold, diamonds, and coltan, used in the production of electronic devices. Rwanda has been accused of supporting armed groups involved in the illicit mineral trade, using the profits to finance its military operations and enrich its elite. This cycle of resource exploitation has had devastating consequences for the Congolese people. It has fueled conflict, undermined development, and deprived the Congolese state of much-needed revenue. The international community has a responsibility to address the issue of conflict minerals, promoting transparency and accountability in the mining sector and ensuring that the DRC's resources benefit its people. Section 7. Ethnic tensions, fanning the flames of conflict. Ethnic tensions, exacerbated by colonial policies and exploited by political actors, have played a significant role in the conflict. The legacy of the Rwandan genocide, the influx of Hutu refugees into the DRC, and the presence of armed groups have inflamed ethnic divisions in eastern Congo. Competition for land, resources, and political power has further fueled inter-ethnic violence, displacing communities and hindering reconciliation efforts. Addressing ethnic tensions requires a multifaceted approach that addresses both the root causes and the symptoms of conflict. This includes promoting dialogue and reconciliation between communities, ensuring equitable access to land and resources, and fostering a culture of tolerance and respect for diversity. Section 8. Paths to Peace. Building a future together. Despite the seemingly intractable nature of the conflict, there is hope for a brighter future. Regional diplomacy, economic collaboration, community reconciliation, and international support are all essential ingredients for achieving lasting peace in the DRC and Rwanda. Regional organizations such as the International Conference on the Great Lakes region and the Southern African Development Community have played a crucial role in mediating between the DRC and Rwanda, facilitating dialogue and promoting regional security cooperation. Section 9. A call for hope and action towards a brighter dawn. The path to peace in the DRC and Rwanda will be long and arduous, requiring sustained commitment from both countries and the international community. We must move beyond simply acknowledging the suffering of the Congolese and Rwandan people and take concrete action to address the root causes of the conflict. This includes supporting peace initiatives, promoting good governance and the rule of law, investing in sustainable development, and holding perpetrators of human rights abuses accountable. Let us not forget the immense resilience of the Congolese and Rwandan people, who have endured unimaginable hardships yet continue to strive for a better future. By working together, we can help build a future where peace and prosperity prevail, allowing the beauty and potential of these two nations to shine through.